My first gaming memory would have been from the Sega Master System, which had 3 built-in games to it. I thought it was like the coolest thing in the world. It had columns, I think an F1 game and a soccer game on it as well. The soccer game was like super impossible to play, probably because I'm terrible at soccer games. But I remember after that, I think the first one would have been like Sonic. I think it was the first actual game proper on a cartridge that I actually got. I remember there was lots of bits that I could not do. I always waited for my dad to come home from work and he'd be like, hey, do that bit. And then, of course, I built up the confidence to jump onto that swinging platform and get to the other side. And that beat the first level. It was like 30 seconds long. These are the days when games could be made 30 seconds long and weren't called Half-Minute Hero. So yeah, that's my earliest memory of gaming.
So my earliest memory or first kind of gaming experience was probably when I was at the airport on the way home in Nerca or Mallorca or some Spanish holiday, and I was about 7, and we were there waiting to get checked in, and there was a Tekken arcade game. So begged my mom for some money, put it in, started playing it, and all the other kids that were waiting to go on the plane were there, and kind of started an own little contest, and I kicked all their asses. It was all boys and I kicked their asses with Nina Williams. I think that was one of my proudest ones as well, but it was my earliest. So then I got into the whole PlayStation phase and I discovered Crash Bandicoot and Spyro and so on and so on, and that was my earliest memory.
My first gaming memory when I was a kid was playing the first Mortal Kombat game in the arcade. I was 1 at that stage, as I know. My dad took me to the arcade machines, and then when the game came out, he got it for a computer on a floppy disk, and I would sit on his lap, and when I was a little kid and we used to play me, of course he used to let me win all the time, and then eventually I got good and I kicked his ass pretty bad. That's it.
So my first gaming memory was back when I was 3 or 4. I went over to a friend's house and he had a thing called a Nintendo, which, well, it was completely new to me because, well, back in the early 90s, it was quite rare to have a games console or even a home computer back then. So obviously curious, you know, like I played this thing called a Nintendo, and to me it was just a plastic box, but once it all got turned on, like I was slowly immersed into the world of video games. The game I played was Super Mario 3, which to any Super Mario fan here knows that was one of the defining titles of that console. So I played that game for quite a while because, well, that was really the only game we had. Because we were 4, so we couldn't really go, Mummy, I want Ninja Gaiden, or Mummy, I want Contra. Because, well, they were probably age-rated or something. Well, I mean, who the hell wants their 4-year-old playing a game about a ninja? But going back to my original point, after a few weeks of playing this game, I kind of, went home and went, Mom, can I have a Nintendo for Christmas or something? And 6 months later, at Christmas, I opened the box. My first console, a Super Nintendo. But I'll go into the tale of my first console in another video.